Yeah, I think we are live. Hi everyone, I am Bhavna over here from Mimo team, and we have our special guest Abhinav with us. And as you all know, you guys like we are hosting BOT-A-THON. It's a agent building hackathon, and this is the part of our one of the BOT-A-THON series that we are hosting. So uh, alongside like we are hosting Bootcamp. So this is our day two, and for that like we will be discussing more around what exactly you should build during the hackathons and things like that. So firstly, let me just give you a huge round of applause around that particular scenario, like what we are hosting and things like that. So as I already mentioned, like we are hosting Botathon, which will be happening from May 8th to 10th with some cool partners like GitHub Education, Amplify, and so on. And regarding the bootcamp that we are hosting, so yesterday, like we hosted how you can build your first AI agent using Zint with our partner. And today, like as you most of you already shared, like in hackathon we have like very less time to build and learn, eventually like build something crazy. So that's why like we came up with this bootcamp idea, so that you guys can learn what exactly you should build and things like that. So like today we have Abhinav with us, and he is currently the CEO and founder of Stringly AI, and he's like changing the dating ecosystem. And I would love to invite Abhinav to like share more insights what exactly he is building, and we have some cool topic today to discuss so far, and looking forward for Abhinav to take over the stage and share more insights about himself and what exactly they are building.
Yeah, sure. Am I audible? Hi, this side Abhinav. So, so next 30 minutes are about turning the agent you're going to build this weekend or this hackathon into something that actually matters. So, title says billion dollar. I know that sounds insane for 48-hour hackathon, right? So, stay with me. By slide 3 or 5th, you'll see it's not. So, yeah. So quick 30 seconds on me, then we will get into it. I started fencing in sixth grade, and by like after 6 months only, I was on the national team, and by like next 8 years, I was having like six gold medals across the next 8 years. Then even in ninth grade, I broke my hand. That was the time when I started reading YC blogs, Y Combinator blogs, articles, right? Then spent more time in coding, learned uh, like cybersecurity in the initial days of my school days. So first thing I built, it was a tech blog in eighth grade. Then in earlier days, we started with like finding bugs in big tech companies, Google and all, right? Then I won my first hackathon, and then I led growth for ICP of India, and that was like a pretty good phase where I learned a lot about, I'll say, leadership in India, about Web3 and all. So for 2 years, I lived out of airports like IITs, ISBs, every major engineering campus in the country in India. Opened a lot of chapters, ran an incubator. Then in 2024, I started Stringly, an AI dating product for new gen people. So everything I'm about to tell you comes from the experience, not from a textbook which I read earlier or not a podcast, right? So moving to the next slide. So billion dollar agents are not a theory anymore. Looking at this list, these are not predictions or projections. These are companies today in 2026. First is Cursor. I guess everyone used Cursor, an AI code editor. Started exactly 2 years ago. Just got, I guess, getting acquired by SpaceX at $60 billion. And if I talk about the early, earlier fear which we all had from Devon, an autonomous engineer went from 73 million in revenue to a $25 billion valuation in just 9 months, right? Then Claude Code, right? A terminal agent, 2.5 billion run rate. Harvey, legal research, 3 billion. Replit agent, code in plain English, 9 billion in March of this year. So one in five unicorns in 2026 is an AI agent company. That number was 0 3 years ago. Here is what I meant, what I want you to hear. The window is open right now, like in 2026. The biggest AI agent companies of 2030 are being founded this weekend in rooms exactly like this one. So maybe in this room, that's not a motivational line though, it's just what the data is telling us, and like looking at the past great companies. So what an actually agent means in 2026. Most people still think AI agent means a chatbot. Just a second. Yeah. So most people still think AI agent means a chatbot with a fancy prompt. That definition is 2 years out of date now. So I feel the real definition, and this comes from the AI 2027 forecast by the Daniel and the team. It's about time horizon. How long a real world task can the agent complete autonomously end to end without a human stepping it to course correct, right? So here is the curve that you should keep up at night from 2019 to 2024. The I'll say the time of horizon AI coding tasks double every 7 months since 2024, every 4 months. The doubling is accelerating, right? By 2017 to 30, I feel like we are going to see a lot of change in development. We hit what the forecast calls superhuman coders, AI that doesn't task the best human engineer can do 30 times faster, I feel, at for just 5% cost, right? Three things this mean for you this weekend. One is you are not competing with humans, you're building on top of agents that will be 10x 20x more capable in 12 months, right? So your mod cannot be the model, right? Second is the bottleneck is no longer intelligent, it's taste, picking the right problem, the right user, the right, I'll say, unhappy paths to handle, right? Third is long horizon tasks are the new gold. Why? Because that agent handles a 4 hour task today, which like when the user will trust it with the 40-hour task next year. So build for trust, right? Not for tricks. So now agents can think, but here is a missing piece. Nobody is talking about agents can't pay, and this is one of my favorite example I can say, or one of my favorite project which I really love. X402. It's built by Coinbase and Cloudflare, backed by Stripe, and one of the best companies around the world. So what it does is beautifully simple. The HTTP spec had a status code sitting unused for 30 years. That is 402 payment required, and X402 protocol turns it on. So an agent makes an API request, that server responds with the 402 and a price. That agent signs a USDC micropayment at a fraction of a cent, right? The server returns the data, total time under 2 seconds, no accounts, no API keys, no, I'll say, any payment gateway integration, no billing department, right? So why does this matter for you? Right, why even we are discussing this? So an AI procurement agent can autonomously buy real-time stock data, or maybe it can bypass the entire enterprise procurement cycle, right? A research agent pays 10 cents per quote ruling instead of paying 50,000 for a database subscription. Your weekend hackathon agent can change a tenth of a cent per call, to be honest, and earn revenue while you sleep. That's the beauty of AI agents. And this is not theoretical. As of last month, I checked the data: 165 million transactions processed, 50 million in volume, and 69,000 active agents already on agent.market, which is really awesome. So according to Goldman Sachs estimates the agentic commerce will move up to $1 trillion in retail revenue by 2030. So software has never been able to pay software until now. That's the financial plumbing under every $1 billion agent of the next decade. If you're building this weekend, I'll say build with payment in mind from R1. Right? So, okay, so the market is real, the tech is real, the infrastructure is real. Now let's kill the biggest myth in the room, right? That $1 billion doesn't mean billion users. So everyone hears $1 billion, and I think I need a billion users, right? That is wrong. So $1 billion means irreplaceable value for someone every single day. That's it, right? Why? I'll give example of Cursor. Cursor was just an AI code editor before millions of developers dependent on it. Perplexity was just an answer engine before it ate Google's lunch, right? And if you know about Linear had maybe 50 teams using it before anyone outside Silicon Valley had heard the name, right? Every $1 billion AI product, I'll say, started exactly where you are right now: small, weird, and obsessed over by a tiny group of people. So if it's not about billions of users, what kills agents most? I feel like the cool demo trap. Why? Three signs you're building. I mean, it can be a demo, not a product. I want you to be honest with yourself this weekend, this project, this hackathon. If any of these describe what you're shipping, you have a problem. I'll be very honest. One is it only works on the that readme.prompt, right? Touch one variable, different user, different phrasing, right? Different type of day. So demos are just scripts, right? Product survives chaos and everything, right? Second is it's one LLM call in a trench coat. No tools, no memory, no recovery. The agents is a prompt with confidence. So real agents have moves, and they retry, they escalate, they say I don't know on purpose. And third is you can't name your user in one sentence. This is what I learned over the past few years. If you can't say who uses this, what pain it solves, what triggers them to open it, you don't have a product yet. I don't think so. So you have a tech demo with the vibes. So let me tell you how I learned this the expensive way. So I spent $4,000 on a beautiful, very, a broken dating app. So it demoed perfectly to investors and everyone. The screens were polished, the vibe was on point. Then I gave it to one real user, and she just tapped twice, used it for 2 minutes, and then closed the app, right? Then I scrapped everything, worked from the problems, and after like fast few months of building, we launched the beta. We are having about 4,000 users in just, I'll say, in about 12, 13 days, right? And that is like private beta. So the version we are running today started exactly with 10 people. The first day I could text directly when something broke. That changed everything, right? It was not like beautiful from the first day, working from the first day, lot of pivots, lot of changes. And I guess it's like you don't know how to build a dam obviously on the first day, right? Ideas take time, clarity take times. So that's not about story about a bad developer. That story about me building what I thought was impressive instead of what someone would actually use. So don't be me. That's why this next slide exists. So this is the 10 user test. before you write a single line of code, right? I call it like 10 user test. Three questions, answer them before you write single line of code this weekend or upcoming days. So, like, number one is, who are those 10 specific people who'll use this every day, Monday morning, right? Tuesday midnight. Not a persona, not a TG, target market, not Gen Z millennial students, right? I want names. I want first names, real humans to whom you should talk, right? And number two, can you DM three of them right now on your phone? Pull out your phone. I'm serious. If the answer is no, you're not building a product. Your guesses, and I feel like guesses really don't ship. And number three is, what's the one job they'll fire your agent to do? And that, not five jobs, only one job done well beats 10 job done, even every single time, I'll say. So if you can't answer these bare minimum three questions before, launch tomorrow, change your project. Seriously, better to lose 6 hours now than 48 hours later having regret. So if 10 users is the goal, what does the difference between a demo and product actually look like? That is like demo versus product, obviously, directly, right? So I talked about the unhappy path in the starting, right? So here I am talking about engineer mode being practical and being tactical while building the product. So anyone can ship the happy path. Happy path is like the agent works when the user does exactly what you expected. That is easy. Real products are built around what happens when things go wrong. And trust me, things will definitely go wrong tonight, probably twice or maybe a lot of times. So tool calls fail, wrap them, retry once, then say, so honestly to the user, I tried twice, I couldn't reach the API, right? Or what I suggest instead, honest agents then trust, right? Instead of showing the user false claim and all of these things, users go off script, have a graceful feedback. I can't help with that, but I can help with this. Never just hang or hallucinate, right? And the model hallucinates, and always ground every claim in real data, cite your sources. This is a new trend coming up, which I see growing up with the user trust a lot. Let users verify, and never let your agent be the final authority on the facts. And edge cases break flow, put a human in the loop where the cost of being wrong is high. Sending an email, yes, ask, from human. Reading a page, no, just go, right? So the team that handles unhappy path, right, is the team that wins, I believe, right? So let me zoom out and show why this matters historically beyond AI. So this is crossing the chasm in technology adoption live. So this early market tech enthusiast then enters the early adopter and then the chasm. I feel like we that GPT moment of AI agents is still missing. We are yet to reach this peak, and the time is now for this, right? So the apps that cross the chasm, this is a very this is my favorite slide, I'll say. So Jeffrey who wrote a book in 1991 called Crossing the Chasm. Most great founders have read it. If you haven't, read it next month or after the hackathon. So the core idea is like pragmatists, the mainstream, the like, don't adopt technology because it's novel. They adopt it because it solves a painful problem reliably. Even every breakthrough product has had a bridge movement, one killer use that carried it from a hobbyist toy into the mainstream. If you look at VisiCalc, the first spreadsheet, right, carried the personal computer out of garage and into every business in America. The Apple movement. PCs were toys until VisiCalc made them unmissable, and then email arrived, carried the internet, not the web, not chat rooms. Email, that's what made talk non-technical people get online. And then chat gpt in 2022 carried LLMs across the chasm, right? No better benchmarks, not technical papers, a chat box that solved real problems on day one. So that pattern is always the same: a painful, frequent, real problem solved so reliably that quitting it would feel like a downgrade, right? So here is your billion-dollar question for this weekend. What's your chat GPT moment? What painful daily problem will your agent solve so well that the user can't go back? Right? Okay, enough theory. So let me give you the literal hour by hour playbook for next 48 hours, which you can follow or you can just modify, right? So if I'll be participating in hackathon, I'll first pick a knife thin use case. Talk to five humans before you open cursor or cloud code. I don't care if they are your friends, classmates, or someone in this room. Listen for exact words they use to describe their problem. Those words become your product. And after those 6 hours, after figuring out what to build, ship the ugliest end-to-end version possible. No polish, no animations, no dark mode, just one flow that works for one job end to end. If your agent can do one thing fully by like at 24th or at 12, you have already beaten 80% of the teams. And hours 24 to 40, break it on purpose, then fix the breaks, run unhappy paths which we discussed, have a known teammate to try it, watch them fail without helping them. That's a really good test. And that moment of watching someone struggle with your product is worth more than 10 hours of refactoring after building it. I'll be very honest at this point, had gone through this process. So hours 40 to 48, one demo, one deploy link, very simple, and one real user at least. Someone outside your team must use it before judging starts, and that's your unfair advantage, right? Most teams won't do this. You will. And one more thing, things on shipping fast. Don't try to be a hero, right? And try to build with leverage. So every agent product worth more than a billion follows the same shape. So 48 hours is not obviously enough to reinvent the wheel. Stand on shoulders, pick the framework you already know, use the strongest model you have access to. Don't write your own scraper, do not write your own vector db. Your time is for the product, not for the prompt golf. So deploy from day one. A live link always beats the demo, I'll say the video demo, right? So speaking of which, let me tell you why open source matters more than your GPA. So it's like an open source agent GitHub, even with 50 start out with 9 GP on a resume, right? I've hired people, I've watched them get hired, right? So stars are users vouching for publicly. So whatever you build this weekend, push it to GitHub Sunday night, even if it's broken, especially if it's broken, that starts off $1 billion arc, I'll say. So let me just, yeah. So I'll say, if the $1 billion pattern, if I conclude that every agent product worth more than $1 billion follows the same shape. Stage one, 10 users obsessed, and then there is stage two, 1,000 users telling their friends, the network effect. And then there is stage three, 1 million users, 10 million users telling the press. Then stage four is 50 million, 25 million, 10 million users. That agent becomes infrastructure. So Cursor went through this, Devin went through this, ChatGPT went through this. So here is the secret. Stage one is the hardest. Even Stringly is also going through the stage two right now, where thousands users. Uh, I'll be very honest. I When we onboarded like 500-600 users, the product was that good. It took us only 5-6 days to reach number of like around 2,200 users. Right, they came from the friend groups only. Right, so, stage one is the hardest, not the technical part, the patience part. Most teams skip stage one and try to launch into stage three directly, and obviously, most of the products die because of this. If you crack 100 to 10 users, obsessed users, not the basic users, this weekend, the rest is the execution. I'll be very honest. So, one, ask before like you open your laptops. Right, so key takeaways: agents are already billion-dollar businesses. For 498 unicorns, 2.7 trillion combined valuation. The window is open now. The best time. Start with 10 to 100 obsessed user, not a million casual ones. Irreplaceable value for a, you know, uh, beat forgettable value for many. Build for the unhappy path from the day one. Always think from the first principles, and ship or die, simple theory. Open source, let your repo do the talking. So distribution is free when your work speaks for itself. So that was, billion-dollar code, I can say. Yeah, so you can reach out to me here, connect with me here. So that's it from my side. You are on mute, Bhavna.
Yeah, what? Yeah, so thank you for mentioning I was on mute. I was just genuinely talking about the thing. So what I was saying, like, thank you, Abhinav, like, for sharing such an insightful things. I really enjoyed the things that you have mentioned, and I really love the idea that the 10 users test and a billion-dollar pattern. So, like, these are two like points that I have noted in my diary as well. So definitely, if you are someone who are like in early age wanted to build something, this is your time to like test out, plan it out. Like I have seen recently there is one YC event in Bangalore, and I have seen like people in their early 20s build certain cool projects and raise some millions of funds and making some cool projects in the AI ecosystem. So definitely, why you are neglecting the things that you can't do that. So being a college student, you have time, you can build the things and you can scale that out. Once you have like being in late 20s and things like that, you have like lot of pressure around the things, and eventually like you have like lot of things to go ahead and work on it. But in early 20s you have that particular leverage to like test it out, make the things work out, and decide like is it something that I'm looking forward to do for the next 10 years or 5 years and things like that. So yeah, really enjoyed the session, and like if I would be the audience for this particular session, I definitely note down a lot of things and eventually rewatch the session.
That's great. That's great. Awesome to hear that.
So thank you guys and have a good day ahead. And if you guys have any doubts, you can like directly reach out to Abhinav. He's like very active on LinkedIn and Twitter. So you can reach out to him, ask your doubt. He would be a very nice person. He usually like answer your doubts and help you out wherever you are stuck. So yeah, looking forward whatever doubts you have, and looking forward like what you guys are building in the hackathons, and do share with us out, and would love to validate your idea and things like that. And we are wishing you best of luck for the BOT-A-THON. Have a good day ahead. Bye bye.
Bye. Hi, Saurabh. Howdy to you. Good out.